Hey guys, you're going to have to excuse me. It's about 14 trillion degrees here. Unexpectedly warm for Britain. But I just wanted to relate to you something that had happened to me the last couple of days. About 3 or 4 days ago, I was invited to join a group called Atheists versus Theists. It was a group created by a guy called Mostafa Aly. And I kind of thought, okay, I'll give it a go. It was a Facebook group. I've not tried them before, and I like the idea of having an intellectual discussion. And one thing that I've discovered quickly is that the group is almost, it's probably about a 50% split between atheists and Muslims with 2 Christians in there. And I have to say, being in a room full of Muslims is like being in a room full of chattering monkeys. And I don't mean that as a racial slur, but it's just a continuous citation from the Quran. There's no evidence whatsoever presented. It's just it's some of the weakest thinking I've ever seen in my life. But that wasn't what really pissed me off about this group. What pissed me off is that they've got a guidebook, and it's fairly standard fare, I guess, for for any group, about being nice to each other and all that kind of stuff, which I had obeyed. And there was one guy there called Patrick something or another. I can't remember his name. He's actually a Christian, and it was hilarious. He started a thread in which he was attacking a Muslim, and the two of them went back and forwards. The Muslim was fairly lightweight compared to this Patrick guy. Patrick was very, very well informed about Islam, fairly uninformed about Christianity, which was really ironic. But they were going back and forwards, and because it was Patrick attacking Islam, the other guy was on the losing end. And at one point, Patrick called Muhammad drunk. And I don't know if he was a drunk or not. He seems to be moderately well informed, better than the average well informed about the Quran, certainly a lot more informed than I am. So it's possible that, that Muhammad, there was a lot of drinking going on, that he had an alcohol problem, who knows. But the point is that the moderator gave him a warning for making that comment. This Mostafa Aly guy. So I protested that and said, look, actually, I can't stand the Patrick guy. He's a real arsehole. But I protested it just on principle that, if you can't speak the truth, then that's not fair. And it contravened their rule number 5. And then rule number 5 says that you can't be rude or criticise the spiritual leader, holy text, or God. Which is a bit like going into a conversation about politics and saying you're not allowed to talk about politics, because the whole point is that Muhammad was not. Well, we'll get onto that in a second. But anyway, so I responded back. Well, this is a bit silly. How can he make a point about Muhammad not being divine if he can't mention Muhammad's negative points? That would be like me not being able to mention the fact that he's a paedophile. And so I wasn't actually attacking him. I was just saying, look, he's a paedophile. He was betrothed at the age to a girl when he was 50 plus and the girl was 6, and he married her when she was 9. That is not an attack upon his character. That is a statement of fact about what do we call somebody who has sexual intercourse with a minor. They are a paedophile. And even back in those days, 9 was a minor. They didn't have that definition, but it was still considered to be a child. So if Muhammad was married and consummating his relationship with a 9-year-old who was a paedophile, that's unequivocal. So then I got a warning for saying that, and it just makes me realise that even in a group that's supposedly meant to be about intellectual debate, this Islamic idea, this Muslim idea, this Mustafa guy supposedly meant to be fostering, I don't know if it was a practice for all of his Muslim buddies to try and practice their spiel, or if he was genuinely wanted to foster debate. I can never understand what the motivation is behind a theist who invites discussion with atheists if they're confident in their beliefs. But let's give him the benefit of the doubt and say that he genuinely wanted an intellectual debate to test the strength of his faith. It seems to me that the second you start waving the banhammer around for people pointing out factually verifiable. Goodness me, my words are not coming. A verifiable fact, then you've already lost the debate. I just don't see really how you're genuinely interested in a discussion, an open and fair discussion, if you immediately take 95% of the topics for discussion off the table that would help your opponent to validate their case. So this guy really was a bit of a wanker, and it's just like that. There was somebody else in the same thing who said, Islam is a religion of peace, and then you think, unless you choose to leave the religion, unless you choose to be gay, unless you choose to do this, unless you choose to do that. And again, it's that kind of, the ultimate banhammer is execution, isn't it? It's like, well, you do what I say or else I'm going to ban you from living. And that's a whole mentality, it seems to me, behind Islam. And so when people say to me they're peaceful, even this little exchange that I've had, and I've left the group now because I'm not interested in any group where reasonable freedom of speech is not permitted. According to their rule number 5, where you can't criticise a religious figure, that means that I can't criticise Joseph Smith, I can't criticise Ayatollah Khomeini, I can't criticise Osama bin Laden. So it's a ridiculous position, and you can't criticise God. Which God? Does that mean that they can't criticise the flying spaghetti monster? Does that mean they can't criticise Thor or Zeus? It's a ridiculous limitation to place on a discussion, and I'm not interested in a discussion with somebody who wants to constrain me like that. I will be polite towards somebody I'm debating, but if pointing out the fact that your main prophet was a paedophile is enough to get you warnings or a banhammer on you, then I'm not interested in having that discussion with you. And if you can't face that fact, then you're not interested in an honest discussion either. You have immediately ring-fenced off half of the possible discussion that you can have, and thus you will never grow as a person to discover the truth. Anyway, there you go, just a bit of a rant, guys. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please take the time to rate and comment, and it would mean a lot to me if you would subscribe. Thank you.